I am a bit obsessed with the BBC comedy series Ghosts. It's gut-achingly funny, and the characters are exceptionally complex and thoughtfully drawn. Throughout the series, we learn their backstories, many of which are heartbreaking. I mean, there's a reason that they're ghosts, after all. But the show works as brilliantly as it does, partly because the cast has been creating and improvising together for many, many years. And in one of the episodes, the characters nod to their real-world selves by playing the classic improv game, Yes, and. Most likely developed in the 1950s by the Compass Players in Chicago, which were a precursor to Second City and ultimately Saturday Night Live, the Yes, and exercise is designed to place actors in supporting roles. Typically, a director creates a scene and two or more people begin riffing, always with the yes and concept in mind so that the scene doesn't crash and burn. For example, forgive me here, my acting, but one actor might be a car salesperson and the other one might be a buyer. A salesman might say something like, "Welcome to Dry Gulch Auto, where every car could be described as such a car at some point in the past. Are you looking for a car?" And the buyer actor might say, "Yes, I am, and I would like a convertible." And the salesman might respond, "Great, we have lots of cars without any tops, and are you also interested in, say, tires? Or is just a chassis without a top okay?" And the buyer might respond, "Well, I think tires are important on a car, so yeah, I sort of thought that would be obvious. And now I wonder, do I need to ask for an engine too?" So this can go on and on and on until, either somebody can't respond anymore or the scene just fizzles out. You get the picture. As soon as one of the actors says no or simply can't respond, scene ends. Usually, each actor builds more absurdity into the situation until there's just nowhere left to go. It's a fun exercise that really helps people work, troubleshoot, and brainstorm together remarkably well. It can also be hilarious, and laughter builds community, in my opinion. Now, in Ghosts, the improv scene is buying a door.
Okay, well, let's start with something simple. So how about the shopkeeper and the customer? Mary enters Robin's shop and... improvise.
Where's the shop?
It's here.
What?
Well, it's pretend. Use your imagination. It's in your imagination. Yeah. Door, Mary.
Oh. Please, can I have a door?
Oh, it's a door shop. Great, yeah.
No.
Okay, now, Robin, that's called blocking. Mary's made you an offer there. She's made this a door shop. So you need to build on that and say something like, what kind of door do you require, madam?
What do you want?
Oh, can I have a new door?
No.
Okay, Robin, that's... don't block, okay? In improvisation, you say yes and, okay?
Yes and no.
Yeah, I know. Why do I want a new door, though, Patrick?
I don't know, it's not like... Let's try something new, okay? How about the doctor's surgery?
Oh,
Yes, okay. And... improvise.
Hello, are you a doctor?
no.
Flaming Nora.
And there's a big...
The improv doesn't go well because one of the ghosts just doesn't understand how to play. It's not that Robin, the caveman, doesn't want to play by the rules. It's that he doesn't even understand the concept of yes and. Consequently, when his scene partner Mary, she's a witch trial victim by the way, when she says, "Hello sir, may I buy a door?" Robin immediately responds, "No." It's funny even though you know it's coming, but it's also shocking because as the scene goes on, there's this realization that Robin isn't being obstructionist on purpose. He just really doesn't get the concept. This goes on and they try the scene again and again and again, each time the director, Patrick, re-explaining to Robin how the game works. And it actually gets funnier and funnier every time that Robin says no. Until again, we stop to think for a moment and realize that the scene can be viewed as a commentary on the current state of human relationships. Too often, we're just slamming the door in each other's faces with a no that comes from an inability to understand how to play a supporting role. Those of us expecting a yes and in conversations, or relationships, social justice, politics, economics, and religion, we're largely failing to recognize that some of the people we're paired with simply do not understand our concept of a loving, equitable God and a world that reflects God's unconditional love. Yes and is an excellent, perhaps even essential exercise for religious people. It forces those who can't begin to comprehend a belief system different from theirs to confront the fact that there are a multitude of ways to perceive and act in the world. The yes and game helps us open our minds and our hearts to the undeniable fact that our particular faith is but one of a zillion in a multidimensional universe. What are Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, and all of the rest in a reality full of realities? They are but diaphanous slices of insight into a foundational consciousness so monumental that if we took every human philosophy and religion and combined them, we'd still only gain an infinitesimal glimpse into the totality of creation. The only thing any of us can say with certainty is that we know nothing with certainty. So for any religious person to say no to somebody else's faithful yes, in my opinion, that's the ultimate sacrilege. I can say yes, I love Moses and Jesus and Muhammad and Krishna and other masters because ultimately their core understandings about life easily integrate into a syncretic whole that allows us to see the brilliant diversity of God in every aspect of creation, from the birds in the mountains to the quarks and the muons. When we see God's great variety in nature, we begin to appreciate it in each other, and we stop trying to force conformity. I can say yes and to all of the spiritual masters because they emphasize the needs of the community over the desires of an individual, a lesson whose importance we've yet to truly comprehend and ignore at our increasing peril. The yes and exercise is an essential and useful tool for all of us who are improvising our religion by integrating a variety of spiritualities. And polls show that today, most of us are doing just that. A little Buddhism here, some Jesus there, a piece of string theory and quantum physics, Chardin, Rohr, Spong, a foundational piece of Mosaic law, the discovery of the Ummah in Islam. Yes and helps us examine religious and spiritual ideas we may have previously disregarded, and at least it creates respect for the multitudinous ways that God communicates with us. Now, I admit there are some limits. There is no yes and to slavery, misogyny, patriarchy, homophobia, fascism, or any person or system that devalues an individual. There is no yes and to genocide, Christian nationalism, and autocracy. There is no yes and to war. The exercise breaks down for me when I think about responding yes and to someone who says something hateful like the Bible is against homosexuality. I hope to have the presence of mind to respond, yes, there are some modern versions of the Bible that use anti-homosexual language, and that specific word doesn't appear in any Bible until 1946. But I can't stop thinking of this great New Yorker cartoon showing a father giving his son advice. The dad says, "Son, if you can't say something nice, say something clever but devastating." I fear that's me a bit too often, in either role. And honestly, usually without the clever. Practicing yes and occasionally prevents me from saying the snark that I'm thinking, and it leads to much more constructive conversations. It might also help us to remember Jesus' words in Revelation 3, chapter 20. "Look, I stand at the door and knock. If you hear my voice and open the door, I will come in, and we will share a meal together as friends." If we want to move beyond this current and exceptionally disagreeable age, if we want to share meals together as friends, then we who believe in a universal force of good must ever more vigorously and vociferously declare yes and open the door to love in all God's glorious and varied manifestations. Amen. Our question to consider today is, what is the yes and of your faith? What's the yes and of your faith? And you guys want to